I am the new chair for the Arab American Cultural Center. The center started for 25 years ago. So this year is our 25 years anniversary as a community organizer. Now, part of our mission is to increase the participation of the Arab Americans in civic affairs. So this really is part of our goal. While AACC-SV cannot and does not endorse any candidate, we cannot do that because we are a non-profit organization also. Many of our individuals, our members, are very active in the community. So we really are proud of that. So in hosting this forum, we hope to continue and raise the level of citizenship of our community. Members of the Arab American community have been part of this body for over 100 years. So we're not newcomers, we've been here. And we have a lot of people who contributed in many ways. The next mayor of San Jose will be one of somebody on this table here, will make important decisions that are going to affect our community and the broader community in concrete ways. So this is really an important event for us to get to listen to them and understand their platform and what they're going to do for our community. Now, we welcome you again and welcome this opportunity to learn about the views and perspectives of our current and future leaders. At this time, may I introduce one of our AACC's members that we're proud of, Council Member Johnny Kamis. He has taken the participation in a higher level by himself standing for office and winning voters' approval. So Johnny Kamis.
Politicians always have big speeches, so. I just want to welcome everybody here to the Arab Cultural Center of Silicon Valley. Obviously, I'm the council member for the 10th district. San Jose has 10 districts. Each one has 100,000 people living in, just about. I represent 1/10 of the district. And our mayor will be elected for the entire city. So he or she's going to be representing and meeting the votes of the entire city. And I'm very glad to see our community taking interest today. I've been very proud of our community for a long time. I've been working hard with, in the Arab Cultural community, in the Arab Cultural Center for many years. And I just want to let you know how important your votes are. Just to let you know, when I ran for city council, I won in the primary by 1 vote. Okay? And I want to let you know that your vote matters. So if you don't think that your vote matters, just look at how I won. And I know all of you were very vital in my campaign, and I just want to let you know that it was your vote that helped me get there. So it's very important. That being said, if you know people, I know everybody here is registered, but if you know people who are not registered to vote, there's a stack of registration forms, and I'm sure the candidates will tell us when the last registration deadline is, so something like May 15th or something like that? May 19th. Okay, so if you guys, if you have children who are 18, haven't voted yet, get them registered, get them involved, and get them involved in the system. So again, it's my honor to help host this event. This is, our community has been involved. We have helped in previous campaigns with Mayor Reed, and we are proud of this tradition. We've helped in the supervisorial races, and we are hopefully continuing this tradition, educating our children, educating the population, and we hope to continue this tradition. Again, some of the things that the Arab Cultural Center does that Victor neglected, we actually have a television show that's broadcast weekly. We also do music and entertainment in this facility. that we're very thankful that the city actually lets us use through the redevelopment purposes. But without further ado, I want to introduce the candidates. I neglected. I want to thank Barbara Marshman for giving us her time, because she's a very busy person from the San Jose Mercury News. So thank you, Barbara. KLIV is broadcasting here tonight as well. KLIV, I don't know where they are, but okay, here they are. All right. Thank you for doing that. KLIV is the only radio station that I listen to. And this event will be broadcast on Monday night?
7:30.
7:30. Yeah, it's the only station that really covers San Jose very well. And it's true, they're number one on my dial. But without any further ado, let me introduce the candidates. To my furthest is Pierluigi Oliverio, council member for this district. Council member Madison Nguyen. Council member Rose Herrera. Councilmember Sam Picardo. And Supervisor Dave Cortese. Thank you all for coming and helping us understand.
Why don't we start with Dave? You always end up sitting close to this pattern going on here. 90 seconds. Yes, the question can be 90-second responses, although shorter is fine. I'm sure. So the first question is about the Envision 2040 plan, the city's general plan, which is built around urban villages, which are supposed to be mixed-use neighborhoods that encourage walking and biking, real old-time neighborhoods. When you mention this, a lot of people think, oh, Santana Row. And then they think, oh, traffic. How do you get, now Santana Row, of course, is very different from your average urban village. It's part of a major regional shopping center. But how do you get around that perception? How do you work with people? If you think urban villages are a good idea, how do you work with people to try to get them to venture out for a little higher density? And are you prepared to require good urban design in these villages so that they really are walkable?
Thank you. Although I left the city council a little over 5 years ago, I've been very involved at the regional level with pulling together these general plans in the 9-county region into one regional plan that we now call Plan Bay Area. And that plan recognizes the need for urban villages and respects the local city's jurisdiction to do that. To answer the question, I think it's going to be very critical to make sure that neighbors understand when you start trying to put density in urban villages, that traffic impacts are still going to be resolved. That there's going to be traffic impact studies and traffic analysis. There's going to be all kinds of opportunity to be heard. In my experience dealing with land use, going back particularly to my 8 years on the city council, is that letting people know that there are ample opportunities to be heard, actually listening to them, and then being willing to make adjustments as you can is really what's important here. As far as architectural design, absolutely. I mean, I think Santana Row is probably setting the standard at this point for that type of development. The closer these developments are to transit corridors, we used to call this type of thing transit-oriented development. It's now certainly extended out beyond that with this urban village concept. I think it's going to be always easier to pitch people on us loading up transit corridors, developing ridership with the BART extension coming, the old light rail lines that we have, and things like bus rapid transit now. These are options for people to get where they want to go on time if we can go around the problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Second question is, it's two parts really. First, will you support putting a general sales tax measure on the ballot this fall? And will you support the tax? And also, if no tax is passed, what strategies would you hope to use to shore up public safety and other services that you consider essential? And we'll start this one with Sam.
With regard to a general unrestricted sales tax, the answer is no. I won't support that. If there is no tax, simply we need to learn to spend smarter, not to spend more. And we can do that. As I recently pushed with Councilmember Pete Constant, we should be looking at our emergency medical response and ensuring that whenever folks are calling because of heart pain, you don't have 2 fire trucks show up with 4 firefighters on each truck and a ladder and a hose. We can respond with a paramedic and a firefighter. That's how we should be doing it. That is how we can get to more medical emergencies more quickly and better serve our population, since the overwhelming majority of our calls for emergency service are in fact for medical calls. We can be more effective in how we use our scarce police resources. I believe a return to community policing is in order. Rather than rotating officers out of every neighborhood as often as 6 months as we currently have, we should keep officers in neighborhoods where they can develop relationships with teachers, with parents, with store owners, and better understand what's going on in that community and improve the communication that's so essential to community policing that made this the safest big city in America. We can leverage the ability of the community to get involved, for instance, to create an online registry for those folks who have video camera footage, for store owners or residents who want to let the police know if there's a robbery or burglary nearby. They can be called and permission can be asked to look at that videotape. There are a lot of things we can do to be safer without
Thank
spending.
you. Let's go to a different question, and this one starts with Rose. Thousands of people sleep outside in San Jose every night. How much do you believe the state's elimination of redevelopment is the reason for the shortage of affordable housing? And what can the city do to help create more? That is, if you consider the homeless encampments a city problem, how will you approach it?
There's a lot to that question. So first of all, yes, the redevelopment agency was discontinued. San Jose during that time created thousands, above 17,000 new units. I think 19,000 rental units were created. So we've done a lot in terms of creating affordable housing in San Jose. The homeless issue is a huge issue. It's complex, and there's many different kinds of homeless folks out there. Everyone from veterans to people who actually have a job and don't have a place to live, can't afford the rents, to folks that are doing criminal activity. It's just not a one-size-fits-all solution that we can address with that. I have joined with Councilman Carter with some creative proposals, like looking at solutions with the motel situation to rebuild some of the motels and use part of the rooms there for homeless folks who have jobs and have a voucher to get housing and can't afford it. So that is one creative solution. But I think we need to look at it not just in one solution, but in broader perspective. This issue is all over the region. It's not just in San Jose, and we need to come up with solutions that have other communities participating as well. And we need to create opportunities for folks to get off the street, providing services, but also then if they don't take that option, then we need to do some enforcement too. There's got to be a two-pronged approach because other cities do that. San Diego's a good example. There's some other solutions out there, but it is a really big, complex problem. We're not going to solve it overnight. And if we were to provide housing for everyone, it'd be about $500 million. So we're going to have to work on this over time.
Next question, we start with Madison, which is appropriate. It's about mobile home parks. There is a proposal, not quite on the table, but certainly out there, to close the large mobile home park near Santana Road, an area that is zoned to become a future urban village. And there's concern about the loss of that affordable housing at a time when people are having trouble finding housing, even if they have rent vouchers and so on. Madison has suggested a moratorium on converting mobile homes, and I'll let her talk about that a little bit. I'm going to want to know if the rest of you support that or do not, and if you do support it, Is the ultimate goal to improve compensation for tenants in mobile home parks who may move? Or is the ultimate goal to try to prevent the change from happening over the long haul?
Thank you so much for the question. The Winchester Ranch Mobile Home Park has 150 residents there. 70% of them are seniors, and it has about 111 mobile homes. There is a developer that is interested in converting this mobile home park into a major development. It could be commercial, it could be a mixed-use, residential and commercial, just like Fontana Road. Earlier this week, I actually proposed that we put a moratorium on any conversion, because the last thing you want to do is to create this drama where the seniors are actually living in peace, and now the world is turned upside down. These people have been living here for so many years, and I just can't imagine that when they reach their 7, 80, or 90 years old, to have the city come in or developer come in and say, we're going to uproot you. We are going to displace you. That is not my job. I don't want to displace these people. That's why I'm proposing this moratorium. And I think that once we start talking about this, we actually have an ordinance that is 28 years old. It's never been tested, it's outdated, it's unclear as to what we would do if these situations happen. We have situations right now. We can't rush into it. We need to put a moratorium on it, let the city officials get together, figure out what we need to do so that these people can live in peace, because I do not want to turn the world upside down.
Thank you. Our next question, we'll start with Pierluigi. We're going to go back to the general plan. The city counts school grounds as parkland, but some schools keep their grounds locked so the public can't use them. And now some city-owned community centers are sort of angering some neighbors because the neighbors feel like they don't have access to that public property. I don't think that's happening here, but the question is about restrictions on public property that people thought were resources. Would you try to do something to increase public access to facilities that are publicly owned, whether by schools or by the city?
I think we all would. I think we can clearly all agree that if there's synergy between two forms of government, i.e. cities and schools, that we would do so. I would just remind, though, that schools are completely independent of the city. They govern themselves. We have no control over them in any capacity. But you all, San Jose residents, elect your local school board trustees. It's important that you express those desires to those local school board trustees, because it takes two to tango, and we would certainly love to dance with the schools to provide more opportunities, to provide more open space. We've done this numerous times in the city in these what are called joint use agreements, where the city and schools share in a monetary or maintenance type of thing, and then therefore the community, the greater community, is then able to use these outstanding facilities. And you all pay for it anyway. You've paid it, 58% of your property tax is going to the school. You pass school bonds constantly and consistently. And even if you don't have school-age children, you know that these schools look really nice when their campuses are improved. And of course, we have many schools where they're open, and the community finds that as a general place to walk around the track or shoot golf balls or pick up soccer. But on the other capacity, there are some school districts that don't want anyone else there. And so I think that conversation would continue under the council member that represents that area, facilitated by the mayor and the city management.
We are running kind of late. I want to do one question because a couple of people from the audience mentioned it, and I think it's really important. Maybe we can keep our answers to just a minute because of our time crunch here. And that's about arts and culture. And I think we start with Sam again. So in difficult budget years, the arts have taken a hit in this town. At the same time, Silicon Valley is saying it needs San Jose as an urban center to attract all those kids who now want to live up in San Francisco and ride Google buses. Excuse me. So what priority would you give the arts in your administrations, and would that priority include money?
Well, I represent the downtown, and I've been a strong supporter of the arts, but it doesn't take public money to make the arts work well in the city. Obviously, we do dedicate some public money through a hotel tax, but what I look for is some creative ways in which we can leverage dollars in different ways. For example, many of you have heard of Airbnb and other internet-based services where folks get to stay at somebody's house and essentially use it as a hotel. Well, guess what? We're not getting hotel tax from that. And so we reached out to Airbnb and we're going to negotiate how we can get them to pay tax that will help support our downtown arts and cultural venues, which right now are suffering from millions of dollars of unpaid, deferred maintenance that need to be brought up to high quality. And so that is going to be moving forward in the next couple of months. We can also find better ways to partner with our private sector, particularly through philanthropy. You know, we have an incredible wealth here in Silicon Valley, but as we know, many of those dollars that are contributed to philanthropy here in this valley go elsewhere in the world. And I want to lead an effort as mayor in which we engage CEOs in peer-to-peer relationships, where we know those folks who are clearly dedicated to supporting culture and the arts are lobbying their peers in the same way that we utilize that very same model to help lure many companies to San Jose, to help lure philanthropy for the arts.
Thank you.
Make no mistake about it, great cities have great art. And in order for us to be a 21st century city and achieve everything we're capable of, we absolutely need to support the arts. And that's every kind of artistic endeavor, because we have a wonderfully diverse community. And so there's artistic things going on in all those communities. And they need to be supported throughout San Jose. I know in Evergreen, I support the ballet. There's a youth ballet there, and I'm actively supporting that to make sure that folks know about it and attend it. That's one of the things we can do, and Councilman Ricardo mentioned a lot of great ideas. Another thing I think we need to do is let people know about our events. We don't do enough marketing, so we need to make sure that people actually know what's going on in San Jose. I've been to events many times that were fantastic events, and I find out later that very few people knew about them. So we've got to let people know what we have in order to bring them here. I think that's a really important part of this. Also, when we administer grants, we need to make it easier. We had such a complex and complicated grant system that artists who were trying to get these grants just would throw up their hands and walk away from it. So we need to eliminate the bureaucracy if we are managing money for grants for these artistic endeavors. But we absolutely need to support the arts. That is going to be a cornerstone when I'm mayor, to make sure that we know that San Jose supports arts and art endeavors.
I am a strong proponent of the arts. As a matter of fact, last year, in a long time, the San Jose City Council approved an allocation of $400,000. $100,000 went to the San Jose Museum of Art, the Children's Discovery Museum, the Tech Museum, and the San Jose Repertory Theater. And from that time until now, I had the opportunity to talk with the executive directors of those arts and cultural facilities. And one of the things I brought up was, the reason why we gave you this money is that we want you to provide either reduced or free programs for some of our low-income students and our youth. These students need access to the arts. They need access to the art in a way where students in affluent neighborhoods or affluent families don't have access to. And we need to take care of them. And this year, as a matter of fact, there's going to be a proposal in the mayor's budget message that we are going to continue to provide these types of funding for these arts and cultural facilities. But when we do that, we need to ask them for something in return. And we need to consistently tell them that they need to provide either free or reduced programs and services for some of our students in our city.
In history, we had the Medici family in Florence or Firenze, and they were so generous to sponsor all these artists, and clearly we need to do that. There is much wealth in here, and those people should be given every opportunity to donate, and with that comes the recognition, the naming right. So I think that's key. The hotel tax, or known as the TOT tax, that needs to be maintained and stayed so it has arts have a funding stream, because it obviously brings an economic benefit of people coming downtown, eating, etc., staying at hotels. We need to continue Art Box, a great project done on a 100% volunteer basis, which converts an electrical box into a piece of art, which brings art inexpensively into the neighborhood. The challenge, though, for the arts is that a majority of their users tend to be older, and the arts themselves have to find a way to attract the youth, because I would strongly believe the youth that is we're also concerned about isn't so tuned into opera and symphony and the repertory theater as much as we'd like. So I think that opportunity to expand that. And I tried to do that by bringing Shakespeare to San Jose. We never had outdoor Shakespeare. We were able to bring it to Willow Glen. We did it affordably. And we were hoping for 2,000 people, and we had actually 4,300 people attend, 25% of them children, and over half had never been seeing live theater.
Thank you. Dave?
Thank you. I think the arts is something that really grows in a community at a community level like this. And we have one of the most diverse communities, one of the greatest multicultural communities here in the world. I've seen many people in this room and many people of many cultures and backgrounds down at the County Plaza celebrating there, bringing forward the youth to entertain us. To me, that's some of the best that you'll ever see of the arts, to be able to bring in the old traditions right into government plazas and government buildings. We don't do that enough. I do as much of that as I can through my office, about 12 of those a year. But I drive by the rotunda now, which was built just before I left the city council on many, many nights, and it's dark. And I wonder, why isn't it opened up to youth groups and art groups every night? Because they can't afford the cost. So I think if we're going to subsidize anybody, we ought to be subsidizing cultural groups and youth groups. Let them use the city facilities that we already have. That rotunda is one of the most beautiful facilities in the entire city, especially at night. Open it up, deregulate it. And I want to go further than that. I've been talking to people who have been folding up and closing down festivals throughout the city. What's the problem? Well, the fees have gotten so high, the restrictions have gotten so high, the lack of staff support is so horrible, they can't do it anymore. I want to stand for a city of festivals once again.
Thank you. I want to give you all 2 minutes to wrap up, but I'd like to try a quick lightning round here of a few questions, some of which came from the audience. Might have wanted longer answers, but we'll try to do it lightning round. First of all,
Yes, no?
yes, no, yes. Yeah, we don't have paddles, but say yes, and if anybody doesn't raise their hand, I'll ask for a no. A member of the audience asks, is there anyone on this panel who does not believe the earth is warming? So I guess I'll make it a positive question. Do you believe in global warming?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, everybody's yes. If Century 21 is determined to be an historic landmark, will you vote to preserve it?
Yes.
4 yes. Pierluigi?
Depends what's going to go there.
Okay. Okay. That's interesting. Should the city of San Jose allow marijuana collectives? Allow any of them? How many yes? And no? Thank you. Would you continue trying to bring the A's to San Jose? All yes. Thank you. Do you think it's worth looking at going to the 3-person staffing on a fire truck like other cities around here instead of San Jose's 4? 4 yes. Dave, no? Okay. If Measure B isn't resolved by January, will you continue to defend it all the way to the Supreme Court? 4, and Dave is a no. Here's a tough one for this crowd. The community organization would like the city to declare an Arab American Cultural Day in San Jose. Would you support it? Let's go to our wrap-ups, and I think we start with Rose. And I will mention that a few people have mentioned they wish they had a little more biographical details, so let everyone know where they can go, what your website is, where they can learn more about you.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for being such a great audience. Thank you, Barbara, for moderating our debate once again. She does a fantastic job. You know, I'm running for mayor because San Jose's at a crossroads. You know, we've done a lot, and we've talked about it here with Measure B and getting the fiscal situation straightened out. But now we need to move forward with a vision, and the next mayor needs to have a vision of where we take our city's economy. We need to build more middle-class jobs, and that's why I'm running. I really believe that San Jose needs to move the needle on job creation. Through our clean tech, through advanced manufacturing, we have lots of different types of jobs that can increase in San Jose, and I will have a laser beam focus on that as the next mayor. We cannot no longer afford to have people going north for the jobs and only the housing in San Jose. If we really want to create a better tax base so that we'll have money for services, the next mayor has to have their focus on this issue. You can't do everything as mayor. Mayor Reed had a few things he wanted to get accomplished, and a lot of that was around pension reform and fiscal responsibility. The next mayor needs to have that kind of focus as well. And I will on the economy. If we can build the economy and get these jobs and have a vision moving forward, we can really improve San Jose. So I will hold the line fiscally. I will help build the economy and bring new jobs. And I really appreciate and appreciate your intent listening. I'm from San Jose, born and raised, Air Force veteran, Santa Clara University graduate with 2 degrees, and I love this city. I'm devoted to this city, and I've worked really hard over the past, this is my second term, in making things happen for San Jose. I believe you have to have a vision and then you have to deliver results. And if you look at my record, you will see that everything I've said I would do, I've been able to do with the help of my colleagues on the council. You don't do it by yourself. So you have to have ideas and vision, and then you have to get 5 other folks to agree with you, and I've been able to do that. So I hope I ask for your support. You can find out more about me at www.roseforsanjose.com. Thank you.
I will give all of you my business card, so all the information is on here after I'm done. But thank you so much for holding this forum. It really means a lot to us to be here in this AACC in the community center. My family left Vietnam when I was 4 years old on a small fishing boat, and we spent a couple of years in the different refugee camps before we came to this great country. I grew up in a family of 9 children, 2 parents, in a very poor family in a affordable housing complex in a small town called Modesto. I grew up working in the fields all my life until I went away to college, went to graduate school, came back to San Jose. But when I was growing up, despite all the hardship that we had, I was a happy kid. I was happy because I was able to go to the community center anytime I want. I was able to play in the park. I was able to go to the public libraries on the weekend to learn English and read books and study history and so on and so forth. So I was happy because that's what America means to me. I am running for mayor because I want to provide that same opportunity for every child and every family who calls San Jose their home. You're going to have the next mayor who's sitting right here in November. The question before you is, what kind of San Jose do you want? The San Jose that I want for my daughter who's 2 years old and for every child and every family is a San Jose that we can be proud of. A San Jose where we have access to community centers, to parks, to libraries, the things that really improve your quality of life. I believe that as a municipality, as a mayor, my job is to make your life a little bit better. I can do everything for you, but if I can make your life just a little bit better, whether you're a small business owner, a resident, or someone who wants to start a business, you can come to this mayor and say, can you help me? And I will be proud to say, yes, I can. I can make your life a little bit better. Thank you so much for your support and for your attendance tonight.
I have a card as well. It's a very nice card. I hope they come and take it because I have boxes and boxes at home. I need to make room so I can sleep in the bedroom. So what a fantastic opportunity tonight to hear all our colleagues speak about the issues facing San Jose. We have much alike, some differences, but all great people here tonight. I'm, for the bio, born here. I'm happy to say my mother's here attending, born in Italy, but did the whole thing K through 12, San Jose Unified Public Schools, San Jose State. Entered into the teaching field briefly, but then spent 18 years in the semiconductor and software industry. So I actually understand what XML is, and not every company is a computer company. There's a lot of great technology in this world, and the city needs to do its best to really be the capital of Silicon Valley. I don't think we are. I think there's some PR for it, but I can tell you, working in high tech, I drove to about every other city but San Jose for work, and a lot of our clients were outside of San Jose. Not impossible. We're in a great position to take advantage of it, and I think we can do so. I've been happy to be elected to 3 terms representing Willow Glen, Rose Garden, and the Santana Row area. I have a district that is very demanding. I'm on my BlackBerry all the time. We've capture dollar cases in the web database that allows our constituents to track their issues online. We've had over 11,000 of those, and over 2,000 plus people have been logging in to follow. And I think that's the kind of efficiency you want in government. It's the openness, it's the transparency, and I bring consistency and independence to the job. And so I'm so hopeful that you'll consider my election as mayor. I have a candidate statement that you'll read. You'll get some things in the mail. You'll get a lot of stuff in the mail, actually, from all of us. So take a little suspicion on what you read, but I will obviously say that I feel I will provide you some great data there. And the website is fromhereforus.com, FROMHEREFORUS.com. And I'm happy to say that 75% of my contributions come from actual San Jose residents. And I'd be happy if you feel that way to support me in that regard as well. Thank you.
I'm running for mayor of San Jose because I care very deeply about this city, and I want to get this city working together again. And hopefully you've heard that theme throughout my comments tonight. I grew up as part of an old orchard farming family here in San Jose, and I was a partner in my first business over 40 years ago, and I've been a business person ever since. And I'll tell you, bottom line is that the city is a municipal corporation. Just like a school district is a business at some level, just like a county is a business, you have to balance the budget. I've done that for 21 straight years since I was first elected to the school board in 1992. That's first and foremost. During those school board days, we set up some very innovative programs. We built the first new high school in Silicon Valley in 25 years, and I don't believe there's been another one built since, but we did that with full engagement of the community. That's how it was done. As a city council member, we accomplished a lot. Again, both in Evergreen and throughout the city, connecting neighborhoods to City Hall, connecting groups like your own to City Hall. But it was that kind of engagement with the community that made that happen. We were able to work with our workforce, and we maintained a dedicated workforce during that whole time, not just a balanced budget, but a AAA credit rating and full service delivery. Things got tougher, and I went to the Board of Supervisors. Same recession they dealt with, same recession. We negotiated at the table and got our employees to take $225 million in concessions, $75 million a year without litigation, without this kind of acrimony, without scaring away a third of our deputy sheriffs or any other member of the county employees. That's because, as I said, the hallmark of my leadership has been bringing people together, working out solutions collectively and collaboratively. That's what San Jose is all about. That's the San Jose I grew up with. Sometimes when you say it's my way or the highway, the other side to the negotiation chooses the highway. And that's what's happening right now. And we've got to face that.
But sometimes that's needed. Sometimes that's needed. My way or the highway, sometimes that's needed.
Please. Yes, please.
As a county supervisor, I voted to unilaterally impose a contract on one of our 24 unions in 2011. That's saying it's our way or the highway. But you do that only as a last resort. And I've never entertained the thought of litigating with my own employees, either in business or in government. And I don't recommend that approach.
You know, there's an old industrial building downtown. It's on the verge of being redeveloped as we're building all of our high-rise towers. On the side of that building reads a sign that says Notre Dame Market. Parking customers only, all others pay 25 cents. Now, that sign was painted 70 years ago. Why am I telling you this? Well, for a couple of reasons. One is I know some of you don't like having to pay for parking downtown. I want you to know they've been doing it for 70 years and griping about it all that time. The other reason why I'm telling you though is that my grandfather painted that sign when he and my grandmother ran a grocery store back in the 40s there at the Notre Dame Market. And their story is a familiar story here in the valley, how this valley was built by first and second generation immigrants with very little money, no education, and they built a business and a family and a future in this valley. And they did so because they were driven by a passionate optimism about this city. And in many ways they were right. And I'm running for mayor to restore that sense of passionate optimism here in our residents. We know we have extraordinary multi-billion-dollar burdens. We know we're going to have budgetary battles. But we can restore that optimism. We can restore that unbridled sense of passion for driving forward if we are more resourceful, more cost-effective, and above all, more innovative. We can spend smarter, we don't have to spend more. Because I've been the candidate, I have been the council member who has led innovative solutions in this city in my 7 years, I have the endorsement of 3 former mayors, Susan Hammer, Tom McHenry, and Ron James. They've looked at the experience of others, and they chose me because they want the same bright future that our forebears had for generations here in San Jose. Thank you. I look forward to your vote.
Thank you all. I was really tempted to tell you you couldn't applaud for Pierluigi. I don't know if our hosts have anything else to say. I just think it's a terrific panel.
There's about 200 cookies in there.
Awesome. 200 cookies.